You are listening to a One Pint Stand, a Minnesota craft beer podcast that tells the stories of craft beer in Minnesota and beyond. So kick back, relax, and grab a cold one. The show starts now. Hello, my name is Dan Bobian, and I write, produce, and host a One Pint Stand. I am ecstatic that you are listening. This episode of a One Pint Stand is proudly sponsored by First Draft Tap Solutions, a local Minnesota line cleaning business with a personal touch. On this episode, I headed up to Lupulin Brewing Company, some would say my home away from home, for a wonderful interview with the entire crew about the upcoming Big Beer Week that will start on Sunday, March 2nd and run through Sunday, March 9th. There will be 56 different big beers that will release during the span of the week in the Lupulin Tap Room. This is a fantastic event filled with a wonderfully curated selection of big beers that have been meticulously cared for by so many talented people. So let's head out to the conference room at Lupulin Brewing for my beer chat about the 2025 Big Beer Week. Cheers. Welcome to another on-location episode of a One Pint Stand. I'm your host, Dan Bobian. Today we are up in Big Lake, Minnesota at Lupulin Brewing Company to preview their 2025 Big Beer Week, which will run from Sunday, March 2nd through Sunday, March 9th. It's always a fantastic showcase of high ABV beers and creative beer titles. So we're here in the conference room, again, as we've done many times, and I'm so excited to be here. Thank you all for having me.
Thanks for making the drive up, Dan.
Yeah, no problem. Big Beer Week. We're excited. Now, I'm not just drinking hop water. We've got our first sample. What we try to do on this show, as we've done in the past, is kind of give people who maybe they do Big Beer Week at Lupulin every year, or they've never heard of it. We want to give a little bit of a preview, and I'm always really excited to see that we get to sample some of the beers. So this one is Pot Meet Kettle. It is a black barley wine. It releases on Monday, March 3rd. And, okay. Have you ever thought of, I know you've got a lot of beers on here, but we got to make this font bigger for next time. Jeez Louise. Black barley wine aged 14 months in Kentucky Owl Bourbon, Woodford Double Oaked Bourbon, and Sazerac Rye Whiskey barrels. How did this beer come to be?
Like 2 years ago, I think I had been reading about or had listened to some podcasts about black barley wines, and I thought that might be something fun to try. So I wrote up a recipe and made the beer and boiled it for a really long time and put it in barrels and forgot about it for probably a year or so.
Nice.
Almost a year.
Yeah.
And then
is a black barley wine similar to like a black IPA where it's just got a lot more roasty malts in the
compared
recipe?
to like a normal
compared
barley
to like
wine?
an English or American style?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're still like, you don't want to go into that like imperial porter or stout kind of territory, but way more so of
so kind of really carefully straddling that line between too roasty and just a little bit roasty.
Yeah.
Okay, it's good. Yeah, this is good. I like. I've never had a black barley wine before. Who have you ever seen one in the wild?
I don't even remember like who I listened to.
This might have been a fever dream, dude.
It could have been.
We just don't know what Aaron does sometimes.
Aaron is back on the cough medicine. Hey,
drinking with Danny.
Yeah, this is good.
One thing led to another.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's got like the base is Munich and Maris Otter.
Okay.
So like a really, really malty base, and then some dark roasted crystal, Cara Munich, and Carafa 3 and pale chocolate, all for those.
Okay. That's where that roast comes from?
A little bit of roasty, but like the pale chocolate and the Carafa Special 3 is like de-bittered, so like both of them should be like very low on the roasty scale while still like having those like chocolatey characteristics and dark color.
What do you taste, Dan?
Well-
Maybe taking some notes over here for future social media posts.
Oh, yeah. Well,
So you
good.
can feed ChatGPT.
Good. Oh, see, is that what the... Hey, so my students are doing. I have resorted to having kids write their papers on paper, and they hate me for it. They just like, "Ooh, why do we have to do that?"
No one even taught us penmanship.
Right. Well, yeah, no. Show somebody cursive, and they think you're a wizard. They're like, how do you do that? You don't lift the pen off the paper. I don't get it. And I'm like, this saves you time. Idiots.
I hope that's how you talk to your students.
Oh, I do. I could fill a book of different things that I say that probably.
You probably should do that.
Yeah, maybe.
Wait until you retire.
I mean, if the Department of Education goes away, I might need to come out with that book sooner than later to just pay the rent. So what I like about this is that there are some really nice roasty notes in the flavor that kind of butt up against the notes from the barrel, which I think there's like a nice little molasses. And I think that like really, I was at a homebrewing event last night and I had a Bochet mead. I'd never heard of it. It's like a category of mead, but the mead maker had caramelized the honey to get those like roasty flavors. And it was like actually very similar to, maybe he had a black barley wine and he was just fleecing all of us.
Like, how can I make this with honey?
Yeah, exactly. But it's got like, kind of almost like really dark caramel combined with like dark chocolate. But I don't get like that. I don't want to say acrid, because when you have like a super roasty beer that's got more coffee notes and really almost like really dark chocolate, like 75% cocoa, it's not there. It's like borderline kind of dark chocolate, but it's not bitter. There's no bitterness in here. No. But I like the roast and how it plays with that molasses flavor. Yeah, this is good. So this is the first time you've done this, and talk to me about the different barrels. How did you select the barrels for the base beer?
A lot of the times it's just kind of what we've got available.
Sure.
And then if possible, especially with these like smaller things, I like to maybe put it in a few different ones. Mm-hmm. It gives me the opportunity to, like, if they end up being super, super different, maybe packaging each one on its own.
Sure.
Or, I mean, you at least have the ability to blend them together and you get a slightly more complex thing at the end than if you just had three of the same barrel.
Okay. Yeah, this is really good. I like it because, it's big beers can go a lot of ways flavor-wise. This one is pretty balanced and not super duper sweet. And it's, when I think barley wine, if like, what did we say this was? 13.3%. Doesn't taste like it. There's no burn. So all those sharp edges have been kind of rounded out, and it's really, really nice. We're off to a great start. This is
awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I do, from my tasting, I like how you said molasses, because that was kind of the first thing that hit me when I was taking a sip of it.
Yeah.
Which is nice. I mean, and I think you're right on that deep, dark chocolate.
Yeah. But not bitter.
But not bitter. Not bitter.
I guess there's like right now I'm really like focusing on the aftertaste that I guess there's just the bitterness now is coming across like almost like a walnut, like black walnut skin, kind of like
a little tannic.
A little tannic. But not bitter, not off-putting in the least. So, some people when they hear the word bitter, they get really freaked out, but this is a very balanced beer. Mm-hmm. Good beer to start with. So speaking of starting, last couple of years for, what we didn't do? We didn't do introductions. Let's start with Tracy. Tracy, why don't you say your name, what you do here at the brewery, and your favorite animal in the alliterative animal series.
All right. I am Tracy Ploutz. I am the front of house director here at Lupulin Brewing. And I guess my favorite animal from the series, probably the iguana.
Oh,
Illustrious iguana.
okay.
Artwork or flavor or both? Right on.
The artwork.
Speaking of artwork,
Hey,
my name is Marcus Paulson. I'm the marketing and artistic director. My favorite of the animals, art-wise, for sure, the opulent octopus. I don't know, but Flash and the Flamingo has a special place in my heart.
you're killing me, man.
The swirly pink farts with a little skull on the ground was one of my favorites.
That's a good one. Must have been a real genius who came up with that title.
I think that was you, Dan.
That's right. It was.
Nice.
That's
nice.
right.
Way to go.
Follow me for all my recipes.
real genius.
Names of the real genius.
All right.
Self-described.
Self-described. Nobody else says that.
As we go around the table counterclockwise.
We skip Jeff.
All right. Well, I am here. I am Jeff. And I am the president and co-founder for Lupulin Brewing Company. And actually, I think the one that sticks out in my mind, and I like the artwork, is that swanky sloth hanging with that G-string on or whatever it's wearing. I mean, it's quite impressive.
What do you like about the G-string?
I don't know, just swanky.
Swanky. That's great. And if you want to get up close and personal look at that sloth and the undergarments, there's a huge mural in the stave next time you come up here. I've sat there for hours and ogled it and just thought about life and my place in this universe. It's just a great place for that.
That's what G-strings normally do.
That's right. That's right.
Make you think about life.
Makes you think about life. And does anybody have a pliers? I've got a wedgie. Hey-oh, there it is.
All right. I'm Aaron Ziert, head innovation brewer here at Lupulin. And I would say my favorite of the alliterative animals was the opulent octopus as well.
My name is Mike Johnson. I'm one of the brewers here. Do the infusions, run boilers, random maintenance work. My favorite would be the killer kangaroo. Oh, yeah. I remember sitting in the tap room with Marcus talking about the Mike Tyson biting Holyfield's ear, and that we should incorporate that. And next thing you know, it had like a Mike Tyson tattoo, and the ear was bitten. And yeah, so that was my favorite one.
Fun fact about that one is that I think it was the only one that, well, alliterative didn't fit our original theme of being well-dressed animals. It was supposed to be, it started as well-dressed animals and then evolved into alliterative well-dressed animals. And then that one, was alliterative, but not specifically well-dressed.
That's interesting. I guess I didn't realize.
For a boxer, he might have been well-dressed.
I somehow, though I drew all of them, I didn't pick up on that pattern either.
That's crazy.
And that is another one on the wall in the stave that you can come and look at.
I did have to explain to somebody on Friday night that the kangaroo did not have boobs. It was supposed to be just very muscularly built like Mike Tyson.
That's what I say that I have to explain that about myself to a lot of people. They're not boobs. They're called moobs.
It's a common mistake.
Pectorals.
Moobs.
Moobs. All right. Well, we're doing a preview episode, but, if you really want to get up close and personal with some of the beers, there is a preview dinner happening. What is it, about a week before the actual March 2nd kickoff of Big Beer Week 2025?
Yeah, we're doing it's more like a social happy hour, not a full dinner this time.
Okay. Sorry.
It's going to be the Monday, February 24th, so just short of a week before the kickoff. And we're going to sample out a whole bunch of these beers we're sampling today. Aaron's also got some pretty cool stuff that he has found in his stash that he's going to release. And everybody there will have first chance to get this year's releases as well as a wide variety of stash release bottles that night as well.
Oh, cool. And that will be here at the brewery?
Yes, that will be here at the brewery
Okay.
in our stave. Tickets are available on our website as well as our Facebook page. And you can search online for Ticket Tailor and it'll pop up.
Okay. And that's just a rule of thumb for everything. If you want to see the release schedule, different things, the infusions, always one-stop shop at the lupulinbrewing.com or the social media, because they do a really nice job of keeping everybody in the know when it comes to events and things like that. So let's talk. I always, if people are very familiar with Big Beer Week, they know the drill, but maybe somebody hasn't been up here before for Big Beer Week, and there's a lot of kind of fun elements of it in addition to the beer. There's always the infusions are things that people look forward to. There's always a shirt. Aaron's wearing a shirt. I've got one. You've got, that was last year's, right? That was the Grateful Dead one. Yeah. So what I think is really awesome is that every year has a different theme. So are you at liberty to say, Marcus, what the theme of the shirt for the 2025 Big Beer Week is going to be?
Sure. We were talking about the litter of animals. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think opulent octopus was the first alliterative animal in cans, and that was for Big Beer Week a few years ago. After that, we did a whole bunch of them. There's wobbly walrus, flashing the flamingo, yada, yada, yada. But way back in the day, one of the first triple IPAs that did not get a package release, it was on draft only in the tap room, was Dapper Donkey. So we decided to bring it back and have some fun, potentially call it Big Ass Beer Week. We're going to have donkeys here. That's cool. Yeah, and so
I'm so excited for that.
So the donkey this year, he's kind of dapper, but being Big Beer Week, I wanted kind of that, not really evil, but that dark, almost metal show, skull, mystical vibe. Yeah. So I took out his eyeballs. And it just made him look a little more dark and creepy and mystical. He's got this kind of voodoo-y spell circle behind him. So it's like a mystical dapper donkey. Kind of a loose theme as usual.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I like it. I love to see what you come up with every year.
Me too.
Because it's always great. As a matter of fact, you can go back to the best of 2024 highlight show of a One Pint Stand, and there was a little snippet when you were talking about last year when you came up with the label art for one of the beers, and it involved a jaunt in the woods with
mushrooms,
some fungus,
some fungus among us.
And that was a fun thing. So
inspiration all over the place.
Always love to see what the creativity come to fruition for Big Beer Week. Now, to get the shirts, what do people have to do?
Well, your first visit, you will be given a punch card. If you come 4 out of the 8 days and get 4 punches on your card, you get the regular kind of cool t-shirt.
Yeah.
If you come all 8 days, you will also get the even cooler, more colorful 8-day t-shirt.
Yeah.
Both for free. You just got to show up.
Yep. And the 8-day t-shirt is a pretty cool thing to have. You can't buy them.
It's kind of like a bragging rights kind of a thing.
Yeah, it's a very cool thing, and I like that. I think that's one way to really not that you need to incentivize people to come in here, but the locals and the big fans, they love being able to sport those shirts.
People have asked to buy them, but we will always say no to that. That takes away the value,
and I love that. I think that's really cool because it's like, and if you come in, that doesn't mean you have to drink like a full big beer.
Well, technically, you could just get your card punched.
You could come in, so if you're like,
that's not fun.
Okay, that's a lot. I just had a stressful day at work. I think I don't want to, have a beer, but I still want to get the shirt. Do I have to drink to get the shirt? No, you can just come in and get it stamped and
And again, we'll have
try some of this delicious hop water. If you're not,
so we have all those options that again, if you're just coming in here and to get the ticket punched, like Dan said, we got the hop water. We'll have both NAs on tap.
Cold brew coffee.
Yeah. We don't know that's the other part of the show is we got 56 beers that we got to figure out how to put on. But hopefully we can keep either our TFP, our NA TFP, or our NA Amber on to make that available. We also have our coffee, cold pressed coffee, and we also have our Smazy is also available for on-site consumption now too. So we have all these.
The Smazy is the THC.
Smazy is the THC. Yep. So all those would be available.
And is that 5 milligrams or 8 milligrams?
It's 5 milligrams per serving, 10 milligrams in a 16-ounce can.
All right.
I can guarantee, because as people that have been to Big Beer Week know that as the week goes on, we tend to have more and more big beers on draft and we lose other options. We are going to can our hop water this year, so we can guarantee one solid NA option no matter what throughout the week.
Oh, great.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Tracy, we would, for the easy drinking, our Dortmunder, we can make available be cans when that drops off the line.
Yep.
Also from draft. So,
and if there's not space for the NAs, we do have both of them available in crowlers that we could open and pour for people as well.
Okay.
So even if they go off tap, you would still have those NA beer options available.
I mean, in this, you have to have that now. As, people expect that if they're going into a craft brewery to have different options. So that's good. Now, Aaron, you just poured us another sample. What is this? This is different. Looks like it's a different color, more.
Yeah, this is a lighter brown.
Lighter brown, almost like, I guess it looks like iced tea kind of.
Oh, yeah. So this is the barrel-aged Wiener Stark beer.
Gesundheit. Wiener Stark beer. All Vienna malt imperial lager.
Wiener meaning like of Vienna.
Okay.
Or like from Vienna.
That's a nice label.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, it's an all Vienna malt, kind of a hybrid between an imperial lager and a barley wine.
Okay.
But just using all Vienna malt and lager fermented and then barrel aged in Jack Daniels and Elijah Craig toasted bourbon barrels.
Oh, wow. Yum.
Yeah, that was this is another one of those things that or a similar idea. I had heard podcasts about people making like barley wine-esque beers with, the first was all Munich malt, but then listening to other people like doing it with single malts of different kinds, like all crystal malt, which I haven't been adventurous enough to try, but like there are super, super light crystal malts that you could use for the majority, and then use a variety of crystal malts, but like all crystal malt. It's like undrinkable if you don't age it like for extended periods of time, but I've heard that can come out nice.
Wouldn't that just be super sweet?
Yeah.
But
like the lightest of the crystal malts, I guess, can be
it'll work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or so I've heard.
Yeah.
I haven't actually tried one of those either, like tasted one or
Aaron,
tried to make one, but
when you hear an idea about that, do you do like just a small batch first just to see, or do you just like, all right?
I mean, small batch for me would be like
that's a 10 barrel run.
So like
right?
making like a half.
Okay.
A half batch on our 10 barrel system.
Okay.
Which for big beers like this is super easy to do. You just like,
oh, right. Yeah.
Instead of like if you were making a 10 barrel batch, you might have to double mash it or whatever to get enough, wort to the kettle to then knock out a full batch.
Yeah.
This you could just do one single mash and then boil the 6-7 barrels down to your 5 barrels or whatever, and you've got not a tiny amount of liquid, but definitely less than a full 10 barrel batch.
Sure. Okay. So you can kind of tweak it from there.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah. It's hard too when beers are like, this was a beer that never got served unbarrel aged. So it was from the beginning conceived as a beer for barrel aging.
Sure.
So when you have that and then the time horizon is like 12 to 24 months in the barrels, the time to like make judgments and then respond with a new, like if you wanted to make changes, it's a very long time horizon.
Yeah, you're talking a year and a half, 2 years
like
down the road.
2 more years from now, like the tweaked attempt might come out, you know?
Yeah.
And I haven't actually made that batch, but if I were to, it would be another couple years before we got to see what effect any tweaks might have.
That's interesting because, you know, I would imagine that most people, when they decide, oh, maybe we should put this beer in some kind of a barrel, well, that beer has been made already just to be poured on CO2.
Sometimes.
But like, yeah, when you get the idea, oh, hey, I wonder, we're going to get this barrel. Maybe this would work for the barrel. So just kind of interesting, kind of like what came first, the chicken or the egg? What comes first, the barrel and then the beer going into the barrel, or the beer that might be good for the barrel? Yeah. That's kind of an interesting thing. And then like you talk about when you have to wait so long to really let that thing age and get to where you want it to be, harder to make tweaks. Whereas like if you're doing a pale ale, you're like, oh, let's add in more of this. And then that's like a 3 week
3
turnaround.
weeks, and then you get to taste it, and then you can make another batch.
Yeah.
And 3 weeks later, you have that revised thing that you could probably taste them side by side.
Yeah.
Without too much detrimental effect to the first batch. So I mean, obviously they're not exactly the same age or anything, but
yeah. This is interesting. I suppose what beer style is this most similar to? If somebody's listening and like, well, I've never heard of this kind of beer. I
would say either like barrel-aged barley wine or barrel-aged Doppelbock.
Okay.
It'd be a very big Doppelbock.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is 14.2%.
Yeah, and I think our barrel-aged Doppelbock this year was 11.9, so that's big too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be the two things that'd probably be closest to.
Okay. This is sweeter. Where's that sweetness coming from?
I mean, a bit of residual sugar, but I would probably not all that much, actually, considering how high the alcohol is. It fermented out quite nicely. Mm-hmm. Slightly lower hopping, maybe, too.
Okay, yeah.
And then the fact that there's none of that like chocolate or roasted malt, which could cut the sweetness a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
With a bitterness of its own, actually, like different from hop bitterness, but like that can balance out sweetness. Yeah. And this doesn't have any of that, so it's just that, that sugar liquid from the Vienna malt, which is going to be, inherently kind of sweet.
Am I crazy, or in the aftertaste, I'm getting more kind of woody notes, more so than kind of like the first one where there were, I was getting more of that like kind of tannic, walnut, dark chocolate. This is kind of like as the sweetness kind of dissipates, it's more woody, which I like. I mean,
part of that might be those Elijah Craig toasted bourbon barrels. They're not going to be charred like a lot of they're kind of known as more like finishing barrels.
Yeah. Okay.
So they'll have less char on the inside of the barrel, which will give you more of a toasted wood flavor than like just like char.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Yeah, that's good. So two styles new to me. I would drink full pours of both. They're very good. Not today, but eventually, spaced out in a reasonable amount of time. We mentioned that there are 56 big beers that will be released over the 8-day span of this event. Now, I think the first two samples we've tried have been new beers that are debuting. Any other beers that you've made for this year that you're really excited about that maybe people haven't seen before?
I mean, from a strict style standpoint, these would be the only two totally new things. Last year we debuted a double barrel-aged Night Witch. We have a new version of that this year, as well as a double barrel-aged Barrel Nuts.
Can you explain? I know that this is. I always need to get the. There's a different nomenclature and vocab for barrel aging. When you say double barreled, what do you mean?
So I mean that beer spent a specific amount or some amount of time in one set of barrels, and then that beer that was in that first set of barrels was moved into a new set of barrels for an additional period of time.
Okay. All right.
So it's not referring to like a beer that initially I split into 2 barrels and then put them back together afterwards.
Right. Okay.
You might think that could be called double barrel aging because there were 2 barrels, but they both simultaneously aged in there. So it's subsequent aging versus simultaneous aging in multiple barrels.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify that for the listeners. All 14 of them. That's right. We're up to 14 listeners, people.
So in a lot of times, too,
Watch out.
over your aging, you get evaporation and maybe a little leaked out or whatever. So that second barrel aging is kind of a concentration, too, because you're not going to be able to just take one barrel and fill up a new barrel with what was in that first barrel because it's not going to be fully full.
Right.
So I might have to use like 4 barrels to fill 3 barrels.
Sure. That makes sense.
For that double barrel aging. So you are getting a more kind of concentrated end product.
Yeah.
Too.
What were some of, we talked about new ones, so these first 2 beers that we sampled are kind of new. What are some of the old favorites that people really clamor for that are returning?
So we have our kind of what we've come to refer to as our standard Barrel God and standard Barrel Nuts, which old name Whiskey Nuts. Now we've transitioned to calling it Barrel Nuts. Both from an approval, federal approval standpoint, and then also the fact that it isn't necessarily aged in whiskey barrels all the time. It could be something else.
Okay.
Historically, it has more or less been different varieties of whiskey barrels, but it could be rum. It could be any kind of spirit or other thing that was aged in barrels first. So the name Barrel Nuts is just a little bit. It gives us a little more leeway versus just having to create a new name that also wouldn't be approved. We couldn't call it Rum Nuts because rum. And it's spelled with a Z because writing out nuts with an S on there also wouldn't be approval worthy because it might imply that there are nuts in the product, which there are not.
That's true.
And even a disclaimer saying that there are no nuts in the product is not sufficient to gain approval.
Man,
We've tried everything. Trust me, we have tried everything, right? Right? Yep.
But yeah, back to your original question. So we have those 2 that we basically release a standard version of each year.
okay.
So yeah,
This year, for those brands, a new thing is that they're going to be in 16-ounce cans versus bottles.
Oh, okay. That's new.
So in addition to our triple IPA being in a 16-ounce can, the 2 standard Barrel God, Barrel Nuts will be in 16-ounce cans as well.
Okay.
which is similar to what we do with Night Witch that we transition to. So, and again, when you look at our core beers, as far as our big beers go, like Aaron said, it's primarily the Barrel God, now the Barrel Nuts, and our Night Witch is a core, but it comes out earlier in our year and our schedule. It's usually right around Halloween time, a little bit before. So those are really kind of the core big beers that we call them.
And all the more reason to make sure you come here on day 1. Dapper Donkey, Barrel God, and Barrel Nuts will all be released on day 1 in 16-ounce cans. So if you want to make sure and bring those home, better be here day 1.
So like your kind of core mainstays are available in cans. I know people always want to, they'll buy 2 of something, 1 to drink right away, 1 to maybe throw in the cellar. How many different things will people be able to buy in? Are you doing all the beers in cans, or will some of the beers be bottled as well?
Yeah, so just those 3 that we mentioned that are all going to be released the first day are in 16-ounce cans.
Okay.
The rest will be in 2 different size bottles.
Okay. I like that you've gone with the smaller bottles. I think that's just way easier to buy because if you buy a beer that's 14% in a large bottle, you kind of need to wait for. At least I'm not going to speak for everybody. When I do that, I'm like, well, I got to wait for a special occasion to drink this, or at least when there's like 3 or 4 friends over. So because you're not going to cork one of those on a Tuesday. So I was happy to see the smaller. Now, if you do cork one of those on a Tuesday, no judgment. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. I learned at a very, very early age never to yuck someone else's yum. So, but for my yum, I like the smaller bottles.
Yeah, I'm with you. I've got cases of 750s under my stairs, and maybe someday I'll have the right occasion to drink those.
Yeah,
hasn't happened yet.
Which of the beers will people be able to buy throughout the Big Beer Week and take home?
I would say the ones that are probably that we have in the smallest quantity are going to be the 2 double barrel aged ones.
Okay.
So those 2 days, those are ones that potentially could be sold out on their release day.
I believe that the Double Barrel Aged Night Witch did sell out on its release day last year. So if you want that, I would really suggest being here that day.
And the barrel nuts is even less, number wise.
So double barrel aged barrel nuts is Thursday, March 6th. And then double barrel aged Night Witch is Friday, March 7th. So have those two. I mean, obviously, you're probably going to want to come in every day, but when you come in for those days, maybe get here early just to make sure that you don't miss out.
Yeah, and then in addition to that, we have 9 releases this year, but 9 brand new releases in package.
Oh, okay.
We also we're releasing 3 of those on the first day. Trying to think. Oh yeah. So then there's 6 other days with releases. That leaves us 1 day where we decided to have a bit of a stash raid. So instead of having a brand new release on Wednesday, we'll have the 5-year verticals of all the standard Barrel Gods on tap, but the to-go release that day will just be a huge opening up of a lot of our stash bottles.
Okay, that'll be
some
fun.
of those are extremely limited in quantity, like way more so than any of these
you've got to be
things.
down to...
Like there might be half a case.
Right,
4 to 6 bottles of a couple things.
Is it kind of bittersweet when you come to the end of the line of a run of a beer that was really good?
I think it's kind of... I always find there's a lot of enjoyment if you get to the end and it's still tasting awesome.
Right.
And knowing that you didn't keep it for too long.
Yeah. Kind of hit that sweet spot.
Yeah. And we did, as I was tasting through some of the old stuff, come to a couple things that I decided to dump out the last few bottles because they, not being bad, they were just very much past their prime.
Yeah.
And that's more disappointing than having something actually run out.
It'd be great if a beer could just okay, we know on this day, no good. Sometimes I've cracked a beer out of my cellar that I'm I'm pretty sure this is going to be awful, and it's delightful.
Yeah.
So you kind of never know, but yeah.
I'm very hopeful for my entire collection.
That's right.
But yeah, when something is, has been in a bottle for 7-8 years, and prior to that, it spent a year or two in, a wood barrel.
Yeah.
That beer has lived a long life.
That's right. That's right. It's got a story to tell, and hopefully that story isn't. I go great with white rice because it tastes like soy sauce.
But again, we tested. That was the beauty of him pulling stuff out of the stash. So he would pour little tulip little small glasses, bring them to anybody that was around during the day, and we'd sample and make sure that it met the quality that we wanted to have for that.
Yeah, that's good. Now, am I crazy? In years past, have people been able to buy, order bottles?
Yes, so we will have all these bottles. The same day that they're going to release in the tap room, they'll release on our online store as well, so you can pre-order them if perhaps you're not as psyched about the t-shirt, but you're psyched about the bottles and you plan one big day to come up and get everything. You can keep adding to your pre-order, and we'll hold on to those for 2 weeks past the end of Big Beer Week for you to come and get.
And they can do that through the website?
Yep, that will be on our website through our online store.
Yeah, so not pre-order like prior to release date. Unless you attend the preview dinner, then you'll have the opportunity to purchase everything but the triple IPA in advance.
Okay.
As well as access to those stash bottles prior to the general public.
Okay.
I just counted up that stash. It's 20 different varieties of beer that Aaron's got.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But ordering online prior to a day you might come out to pick them up on their release day, you can add them to your cart.
That's magnificent. 20 different, things. There's some breweries where, like, I don't think I could name 20 beers I'd want to drink again. So that's a credit. That's a credit to your staying power and commitment to quality. What is it? So we've got another sample. Sample number 3. What is this?
Yeah, this is the Barrel Nuts. This year's standard Barrel Nuts, aged in George Dickel 18-year whiskey barrels. Yeah, this Barrel Nuts is our imperial brown ale. Generally aged in whiskey barrels, but like I said, could potentially be aged in other types of barrels in the future. The standard release is generally just aged for right around 12 months.
Okay.
So we'll make it just before Big Beer Week, and then we'll age it for 12-ish months.
Sure.
And then a selection of the batch of barrels. We're not using all of the barrels that we fill one year the next year.
Okay.
Which is what gives us some of those candidates for double barrel aging or extra long aging for blending in later or blending with other things in the future. That's some of every year's batch hold over to the next year.
Okay.
But, I think it was six oak barrels this year that went into so it's like 45% of the batch that was brewed last year made it into this year's standard Barrel Nuts.
Okay. Is that pretty good, or?
I mean, it's fine. It's just a decision of like how much volume we want to package for release this year, really.
Okay.
So it wasn't that 8 of the 14 barrels like weren't good.
Right, yeah.
Or anything like that. It was just that, I was shooting for a specific volume.
Sure.
And so picked
if you've got
out 6 barrels.
52 or 56 things happening, you want to kind of have an idea. You probably don't want to go overboard. Right. But then the possibility of it continuing to like stay the same or get better, that you want to have some for the next year too. Right. Do you have, what's your ballpark? How many barrels are currently in use?
I counted them.
I think
102.
Right around 100 is what I was going to say.
Okay.
And we're actually we're getting close to the lowest we've been overall in a handful of years now. I know in our scribbled room, we're definitely down to the lowest we've basically ever been since we like had a dedicated room for the mixed culture stuff. Although like that's a little skewed because you do have the 3 fooders that each have 10 barrels.
Right. Yeah.
So like that would be the equivalent of a dozen.
I was going to say 15.
A dozen
I was trying
more.
to, in my mind, like think of like a bunch of barrels on their side.
Yeah, so like 12, 13-ish.
Yeah.
Like wine or spirit barrels equivalent in the 3 fooders.
Okay.
And that's just more a matter of like the amount of like time to be able to process all the beer. Like it ended up being too much. Mm-hmm. And seeing kind of a little bit of the same thing on the clean barrel side, although that's remained more steady. We're fluctuating a little bit, maybe a little down right now, but not by a ton. We have gotten to where we're like the Night Witch being a pretty big can release every year, and we've done a couple other things in cans now from the barrel inventory, which allows us to do a little bit of a larger volume than when we're doing the hand bottling. So that kind of has been a way to keep the inventory kind of fresh and rotating.
Sure,
and also
sure.
like give us
Because
space to age things longer as well.
like you said, you don't want to be sitting on too much if it's, has the propensity or like the possibility of kind of quality kind of falling off, or it's not where you want it, because then it's...
Yeah, you want to be able to process things when they are at their best.
Right, yeah.
So if you're not able to keep up with that, then you definitely need to scale back the cadence that you're filling barrels.
Yeah.
To match the cadence that you're able to empty the barrels as well.
It's kind of fascinating, the shell game that you all play with the supply and the inventory, but also kind of trying to keep your finger on the pulse of, okay, should we be packaging more, or we want to get this out there because it's ready?
Yeah, and luckily, I mean, these beers generally, are going to have pretty good shelf lives once they've been packaged as well. So like, you could package throughout the year to still release at a designated time in the future. You know, you're not going to probably see detrimental effects to packaging something, 4-6 months before you're going to release it. If you do, then there's probably larger issues than
right. Yeah. Well, there's no issues with this beer that we're drinking right here. This whiskey nuts.
Barrel nuts.
Don't say it, Marcus.
What are you tasting, Dan?
Oh, well, it's interesting. I was just thinking about that. This, it's going to sound a little strange. There's a lot more kind of, when I say leathery, I don't mean it
brown
in a
chicken, brown cow.
I don't mean it in a gross way, but like kind of almost like kind of some savory notes. The best descriptor I can give in my head is like when you have a piece of roasted, like a roasted chicken thigh, and you get that really nice crispy skin. You take that bite. It's got those kind of like umami, but like all Maillard reaction.
Mallard duck reaction.
Yeah, mallard. If you've ever bitten into a mallard, like, but yeah, it's got some of those like roasty, savory notes. To me, that's good, and I like that in a beer, and because the base beer is a brown ale, right? Or imperial brown. So when I think of like a brown ale, you've got some of those roasty notes, and if it's imperial, some of those things are just amplified. So this is a really nice, not like roasty to the point of being bitter, but almost like kind of like a perfectly buttered piece of toast. That kind of roasty. I don't want to say umami, like, because some people will describe a beer that's kind of past its prime as umami. This is not that. This is, I don't know. Help me out. You're the genius of descriptors. That's what I'm getting. It's kind of like that roasted, almost like a roasted pecan or something.
It's got that nutty brown notes to it.
Thank you. Chime in earlier next time, Tracy. You've got a great ideas.
You go.
That's right. Well, I think now's as good a time as any to take a break. And then when we come back, we'll kind of delve into more samples and more questions.
And infusions.
And we got to talk infusions. We'll give Mike was going to go get into costume. He's going to put the goggles and the
mad scientist
and the
lab coat,
luchador mask on, and he'll be ready to stuff us with peanut butter and cereal. All right. Well, you're listening to a One Pint Stand up here at Lupulin Brewing Company, previewing their 2025 Big Beer Week. Hey, thank you so much for listening. Hopefully you are enjoying a One Pint Stand. My aim is to help spread the word about craft beer. Enjoying craft beer is a passion of mine, and I love chatting about it with other people. A One Pint Stand has a goal of helping breweries tell their stories. I love to get out in and beyond Minnesota to visit breweries, beer bars, and meet other interesting beer people. If you are also into those things, you'll probably want to keep tabs on the show. So go ahead and follow A One Pint Stand on Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky. I also started a TikTok account because I was tired of Charles calling me a boomer for not having one. We would also appreciate any and all positive reviews on Spotify and Apple Music or wherever it is you listen to your podcasts to make it easier for other craft beer listeners to find us. If you want to be a supporter of the podcast with some extra change you find in your couch cushions, I have a Patreon. There are 3 different monthly levels of support, and they are priced at $1, $3, or $5 a month. If you pledge at the $3 or $5 monthly level, you get some cool perks. So go to patreon.com and search A One Pint Stand to check it out. We are up to 17 Patreon supporters, and I am absolutely through the roof about what that means for this show. If you like reading about craft beer, you can find all my written work on aonepintstand.com. I love to write, and that is where you will find any written work covering local beer happenings and my craft beer travels. I truly appreciate you listening and taking time to enjoy our stories. Now, before we head back to the show, I want to talk about this episode's sponsor, First Draft Tap Solutions. Brett Erickson runs the show and uses his over a decade-long experience as a head brewer to provide a hands-on approach to line cleaning, draft installation, and technical support. If you are looking for a quality experience with someone who will get the job done right, give First Draft Tap Solutions a pour. To get in touch with Brett, email him at firstdrafttapsolutions@gmail.com or give him a call on the horn at 612-839-5304. Brett has a manageable number of clients to ensure that he's available to give you an amazing level of service. So check out First Draft Tap Solutions for all your line cleaning and draft installation needs.
How about a beer?
Okay, we're here back for the second half of our Big Beer Week 2025 preview up here at Lupulin Brewing Company in Big Lake, Minnesota. This is the 9th year of the Big Beer Week, and we were just kind of waxing nostalgic over the first Big Beer Week where everybody was really excited about 8 beers over 7 days, and now we've got 56 beers over 8 days, and it's 7 a day. Take that, Surgeon General. So the second half, now, during the break, Aaron so kindly poured us another sample. Aaron, what do we have in our glasses?
This is our standard Barrel God release for 2025, aged just like the Barrel Nuts in 18-year George Dickel whiskey barrels. Yeah, most of what I said about the Barrel Nuts applies to this as well. Just it's
Sure.
Our kind of flagship Big Beer Week Imperial Stout.
And this reminds me of a ZZ Top song because it's got legs. It's if they want to sponsor the podcast, they can. Now, this to me is old school Imperial Stout, dark chocolate, roast, little bit of like. There's a very faint hint of like a kind of like a dark cherry, this is very much in my.
I get a little black licorice in this one too.
Yeah, oh yeah. This is yummy, and I love it when a beer like it. You get that little very tan coating on the glass. This is a delightful. Now, which day does this release?
Day one.
Day one.
Along with Dapper Donkey and Barrel Nuts.
Okay. I like how you schedule things so that if somebody is really, let's say they're only going to be here for one day, there's something special, something really exciting on every day. Now, one thing I wanted to ask, I feel like it's been not a movement, but I think a lot of people, I mean, drinking habits are definitely changing, and a lot of people are really dialing back their consumption. Some people are, not doing alcohol at all anymore. Have you noticed any changes in how people participate in Big Beer Week, given the last couple of years of people just like really like pulling back, or is this like one of those events? I always like when I go on a vacation, I will reference our trip to St. Louis and Kansas City as an example. I worked out really hard the week before because I knew that there would be some dietary decisions made on that trip that would not make my physician happy. And I just prepped for that. So like I ate a lot of salads and different things and really tried hard to preempt, get ahead of the game and burn a lot of calories. Do you think that Big Beer Week is just kind of like the same because people know, like, all right, this is an event. This is the thing I look forward to. I'm not going to dial back how I interact with these fantastic beers. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think like the beautiful thing about Big Beer Week is that like as much as this is about the beer, it's also about like just the community. And I think a lot of people come here for these beers, but a lot of people come here for the vibes and just all the fun people that they have met throughout the years and they want to talk to. They might grab a big beer, they might grab a hooey. It doesn't really matter. They're just here for a great time. I don't think those that love these big beers continue to love these big beers. And those that don't have always found something else that they enjoy, and maybe they'll get one and they'll try it each day. But I haven't seen a lot of change.
Okay.
I would say the one change that maybe I've seen is a slight decrease in like the to-go sales. That it's just been the hype around like bottle releases and things that was really kind of hitting its peak back when we started Big Beer Week in 2017.
Sure.
That has abated a bit.
Yeah.
That's
And it hasn't fallen off a cliff by any means, but I think it also could just be that like we're releasing way more beers now than we did then. So you're seeing like each individual beer maybe doesn't have as big of a demand as they did then, but it's spread over more beers. So in the end, people are buying just as many of the beers to go home. It's just multiple brands versus a couple of one, or a couple of two. So and
that's got to be really hard to track too. Like you said, with this year is so different than 3 years ago. That data, you can't compare it. You have to take it with a grain of salt. Speaking of grains of salt, people will infuse different things with salt. We are in the presence of the mad scientist, Mike. Tell us about the infusions this year. Which what infusions are you really psyched about? What infusions do you think are gonna really put smiles on the faces of people? And what infusions have you brought back from previous years that just really went over well?
So I think the infusion that'll bring a smile to a lot of people's face is not necessarily the infusion itself, but the name of the infusion. So when we had our meeting to come up with like what infusions we were going to have this year, we typically look at what we've had in the past few years, what we've had at like just for like Bradham's for ideas and stuff, like what's gone over well, what hasn't gone over well. And so we're looking at the list of the beers that we have coming down. And we always try to do like an infusion with the big IPA that we always release. And this year was Dapper Donkey. So one thing led to another in the meeting, and Donkey Punch got thrown around. And after lots and lots of laughter, it was basically decided on as soon as we started laughing that was what we were going to call it. So then we're like, okay, Donkey Punch, that's hilarious. Let's do a fruit punch then. So then it's like a fruit punch, Donkey Punch.
Yeah.
And so
feel free to look up on Urban Dictionary if you're not familiar.
But so that one I'm super excited about. based on the name and there's a
for the
footnote.
Patreon members.
Please see footnote. You don't need to be a Patreon member for this footnote.
You know, earlier on in the episode when we were, I didn't want to interrupt, but, you know, I was looking at the rest of the menu and I saw Donkey Punch. I was so happy. Yeah. So tell me about the Donkey Punch.
So it's our Dapper Donkey, but we're going to make it into a fruit punch. So it's going to have cranberry, pineapple, orange, and lemonade in it. So it's going to be kind of like your typical fruit punch that'll be infused inside of the Donkey Punch.
Yep. That's available both Friday and Saturday.
Yep. That was the other thing that we had decided on, too, is that it would be kind of fun to have one that goes 2 days, especially being that this is like the highlight IPA of this year. So doing the infusion on 2 days, that way if somebody can only make it up on either Friday or Saturday, it's there both days.
Yeah.
And Saturday's always kind of a big day. So
Yeah.
just having 2 infusions available, 2 different time slots.
Yep.
Well, and people go nuts for the infusions.
Yeah.
Like, that line is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, 7-8 minutes, they're gone every day.
It's always
typically.
fun, like the days that I'm up here seeing everybody line up, and then it's just like this huge line of people coming in.
Yeah.
And then sometimes people trying to get back in line to try and get another one. And it's like, oh, that's so cool. Like,
Yeah, that's awesome. So, you know, Donkey Punch is going to be the key, the key infusion that you're very excited about. What are some of the others? If you say Jersey Meat Hook, I'm leaving.
that's next year. We'll have a little umami in it.
All right.
Hey, caramba.
So I believe both Wednesday and Saturday have some returning favorites.
Yeah. So let's see. What do we got on? Get on the back. All right. So yeah, on Wednesday, Barrel God Caramel Delights. So the Caramel Delights has been one that's gone over really well.
Yeah.
A few times that we've done it. So thought we would bring that one back. And the Old Fashioned, that one seems to be a crowd favorite. So, you know, not always trying to bring old stuff back, you know, but also trying to like not have just all new stuff, because some of these things, you know, people really like them. And then if you can't come up, you know, because it's only, you know, or 8 days. So if you don't make it up
6
every
minutes
time.
a year for some of these beers.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, sometimes you can't make it up every day. So having a chance to bring some back from last year that you weren't able to get, that potentially could come get this year, and, you know, with a different base beer, but same kind of infusion. So that's also kind of cool seeing how different beers will react with them. What was the
Count Chocula cereal makes a return again.
the Count Chocula comes back. The oatmeal cookie. We do got a new one, the barrel aged cinnamon coffee cake dreams.
Pretty excited about that one.
Yeah, so that one I'm excited to see how that one turns out, because I haven't started making any of the infusions yet. Start tomorrow, so it'll be next 3 weeks. Will be infusions every week to get them set up and ready to go.
If you can get yourself a copy of this schedule, it's got the full recipe, essentially.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
take a look at that.
So for the barrel aged Doppelbock oatmeal cookie, how do you? Because I know sometimes you use food products, and sometimes you just use things that will have those
Ingredients.
flavors.
Yep.
What would your maybe take me through your kind of game plan with some of these? Like, how did you, as you were kind of like thinking, you know, there's some on here that have been big hits in the past.
Yep.
You know, I mean, certain flavors or food things it's
Don't
a
translate.
no-brainer. Or
Or they
sometimes
do
it's like they
translate, yeah.
don't. When you conceive an idea in your head, kind of like earlier I asked, you know, Aaron about like when you're thinking about a new recipe, you know, you don't really have like a single barrel test batch system. Do you just kind of like go to the store, grab a bunch of stuff, and just kind of like get your mortar and pestle out, and just kind of like pour some beer, and like, okay,
we do have a mortar and pestle.
Yeah, well, everybody should.
Yeah, so like in the beginning phases, so when I took over the Bradham program, there already were, or like there had been like kind of some notes taken of like different infusions and how things were, what ingredients were used at what ratios. And so I had kind of gone off of that. And then also when we come up with new ideas, it's kind of in the beginning, just winging it, you know, like let's just see, okay, this turned out terrible. So, yep, duly noted. Don't do that again.
There's a large and complicated spreadsheet with basically every infusion you've ever made.
Yes. Yeah. There's like hundreds of infusions on there. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's got to be getting close to 500 or 600. It's the spreadsheet's huge. It's massive.
That's so crazy.
But like with the oatmeal cookie, so it's this one's kind of a hybrid of using the actual ingredients and breaking down the ingredients.
Sure.
So, I actually go get like iced oatmeal cookies. And so I take those and then I basically food process, like just shred them so that we get, a lot of contact. And then we're adding in vanilla, cinnamon, and raisin. So then we're also kind of adding in some of the, ingredients that also go in separate to the cookies too. So you're kind of getting a mix of both in those.
Yeah.
Where some of them you kind of have to completely deconstruct it, because if you use whatever it is, like the one I always use, which I think I've used before, is like the Snickers, where it ends up tasting like peanut brittle.
Yeah.
Because like when you think about it afterwards, it's like, well, the chocolate is like this thin coating on the outside, so you're not going to get like any chocolate flavor to come through.
Right.
So you just get all this like nougat and like peanut. So it's one of those where you think, oh, like when I eat it, I get all these flavors, but then when I crush it up and put it in something, only some of those flavors come through.
Yeah.
So different things like that, we're kind of, trying to mix and match with using either like a complete deconstruction or using some of the ingredients and a deconstruction, or just using the ingredients.
And is it fair to say that most of the infusions tend to be on the sweet side of the taste spectrum?
Yeah, I would say for the most part.
Especially for Big Beer Week.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not the time to roll out a lasagna infusion for. It's a me, Mario.
Bacon bits
Garfield
once.
can come back next year.
Yeah, have you ever thought of like doing like a savory? I mean,
yeah.
So the only reason I bring that up is because a couple of years ago, Modest did a like chili cheese beer. It was.
Was it the hot dog beer? The Hormel one? The Hormel.
Oh, that's
well, no,
right.
but they did that, but then they also did like a like straight up like it. Bree gave me a can and I used it in chili, and that was actually the right move. But I had a sip of it. And it was just like if you took like an Ortega seasoning mix and put it in a beer, that's kind of what it was like. It was very.
Did you make that Thanksgiving beer, or was that Jason?
That was what I was going to get at. We've done a couple different savory attempts during like the Thanksgiving.
What was the base beer for that?
Yeah, some of them did.
Put
I'd have to
rosemary,
look up.
sage, and thyme into Oktoberfest.
Yeah, that might be right.
It's surprisingly delicious.
Well, yeah, that would be good because I mean, depending on the type of Oktoberfest beer, if it's like a Marzen, it's like it already has kind of like some of those like Maillard reaction malt flavors, and it's very bready. You could do that.
Also tried bacon bits once, and
so
don't do that.
Well,
do not do that.
So I kind of wouldn't mind trying it again. So we did one where I used like the what would it be, like the shaker bottle of like bacon bits, and put that into an infusion keg. The problem was at the time we were serving off the infusion kegs, where now I pull the liquid off of the infusion keg and rack it into like a 6-still half barrel, whatever we're putting it into.
Sure.
So it gets it off of that infusion. The problem was when we did that, so it sat on the bacon bits for, about a week, and then we were serving it off of that. So in those homebrew kegs that we were serving off of, and even just a regular sixtel, you're pulling off the bottom, and that's where all the infusion is. So the first stuff you're pulling off, you're getting straight like bacon, salt. It was terrible. But I think if we would have pulled it off of there and got it into a different keg, it might have been a little different. But we did try another one where we cooked bacon, and we tried 2 different types of bacon. One was like a applewood, and one was like a maple or something. So we made a ton of bacon and then infused it, but it didn't have as much bacon flavor as I was expecting.
Sure.
So it's kind of one of those like the 2 extremes where I think if we would have taken the bacon bits one off of the infusion, it maybe would have turned out better.
Yeah.
It still could have been terrible even if we tried it again and pulled it off. But when we did the actual bacon, I don't know if it didn't infuse long enough or maybe we didn't use enough because we used quite a bit. But that didn't turn out as bacony as I thought it would. So, there's some of these things where you kind of mess around with them. And because like the bacon bits one, we didn't even serve that one. That was one of the Bradhams. We're like, oh, sorry, no Bradham this week.
Yeah. The infusion's big deal, big draw. And I think it's fun because like it's unique. It's like, whereas like there's a lot of breweries that do gimmicky things, but I love hearing you describe your process because you take a lot of time to like work through it. Some breweries will like they'll come up with an idea, but I'm like when you just like, can I just get a little splash of that? You try like there's no way this was tested. You people didn't even think about like what the hell's going on.
You tried it and went, ugh.
Yeah,
serve it anyways.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I'm not going to name the brewery, but they were, you were speaking of like, the beer coming from the bottom of the keg, and like with some of that stuff, I'm sure you need to get it mixed up, or things will settle. And they were serving a seltzer that was coming out of the tap like syrup, and it's like. And there was no talk of like, oh, let's just 86.
Let's just run it out a little bit
and
see if it changes or just pull
maybe we could do it like a snow cone. And no shit, they went out, filled a tulip glass of snow, and then poured it on there. I'm like, okay, I gotta be done here. Like, so that's why we're not gonna say the name of the beer.
So the other one was Spudfest.
Okay, and so another thing too, so when we do pins now, so originally when we would do like pins, so like pins, firkins, all the infusion ingredients would be in there, and then we would go serve them. And the problem too with that is those, like the bags and everything that everything's in would plug up your faucets. So now when we've been making any kind of pins, firkins, I'll make them in separate kegs and then transfer them over. Then now it's another one of those where, same thing, you're serving kind of off the bottom, anything that settles out. So all those like ingredients, you're just getting that concentrated right at the beginning. Yeah. So by the time you get to the end of it, it's a totally different infusion.
Yeah.
Well, at the end, it's probably just about the same as it was in the beginning. But
if you had
in the middle, it's totally different.
Yeah. But one of the things too, like with talking about taking notes on all my infusions, one of my favorite notes to add. So on the part of my spreadsheet, I have like a notes tab on there, and I try to take tasting notes and have a bunch of people taste. What did we get? A little bit more of this, a little less of this, or this was really good. Do it again. One of my favorite notes to write on there, and every time I scroll through and I see it, I always go, is Aaron liked it. Or Aaron didn't hate it. So I always add those in there because there's
Mr.
so many infusions I do, and Aaron is just like, oh, it's way too sweet, or like, oh, this is way too much. So anytime he's like, oh, this is actually pretty good, I'm like, in the notes.
Probably won't like it.
Yeah, but it's just one of those. It's like a high point note of like, oh, Aaron liked it. Okay, I'm adding that. So it's funny. Like we'll be scrolling through in like the meeting of like different infusions and looking at the notes, it's like, oh, Aaron liked it. Like, it's funny. Because he doesn't like so many of them. And if he actually likes one, it's kind of one of those, like, gold stars.
It's kind of like if I could, growing up, my grandpa had a really good sense of humor, but making him laugh was so hard. So if I could make my grandpa laugh, I'm like, okay, that was really funny pocket. Because like he does not laugh very often. What is this newest sample? It smells like, is this?
So this is the barrel-aged peanut butter munchies that Marcus described earlier.
I'm very excited about.
Okay,
So
barrel-aged
the
peanut
last
butter munchies.
Sunday release.
Okay,
A blend
rounding it out.
barrel-aged or Imperial CPB and Campfire Munchies, both barrel-aged in Woodford Reserve double oaked barrels.
Just the aroma of this. I often say that if somebody wanted to come up with a perfume fragrance that would just print money, the first one I would say would be Smoke Gouda, but this would be, I mean,
Print money, you say?
God, this is so, yeah, my God, the aroma on this beer.
And the one thing I really do like about this, and we had talked about it when Aaron was getting this all set up and ready to go, is the peanut butter on here is like a perfect blend of, it's not like over the top where you drink it and all you get is peanut butter. It has like a very nice peanut butter note that blends well with everything. So it's more of like a balanced, because I'm not a big peanut butter fan like in beers, because a lot of times everybody thinks that, oh, it's a peanut butter beer, that's all you should taste. And so then you drink it and you're just like, ugh, like tone it back a little bit.
Yeah.
And this is like a perfect example of where it's like a nice balance. Like you get the peanut butter, it blends well with everything, and it doesn't overshadow the beer, but it's enough there to let you know that it's a peanut butter beer.
But yeah, this is a really nice, the aroma is so good on this beer. I think the peanut butter does add a lot of balance to it too. And there's like in the aftertaste, there's some good like dark chocolate.
Yeah.
It's
and
sweet,
some
but it's
character
not like
still.
sickeningly sweet.
Yeah, no, it's
and
not
I like
cloying at all.
sickeningly sweet, but I'm really enjoying this.
Yeah. And we had talked about that when Aaron was making that too, of like not overshadowing that barrel character.
Yeah.
Because it's like you have this nice beer and like, why would you ruin it by just blasting it with peanut butter? And the s'mores character. Yep.
the marshmallow and the graham cracker notes and things from the Campfire Munchies. It's like, at first I thought the peanut butter maybe was a little subdued, but if I was going to try to remedy that, I'd probably just blow everything else away, and then it would just be a barrel-aged version of the Imperial CPB versus the combination with the Campfire Munchies.
Yeah.
Which
Well, yeah, you have to tread lightly because a lot of the things in there are big flavors, and they could easily get out of whack and then, like you said, just totally stomp on everything else. As Mike was talking about the infusions, you learn some things after doing it 462 times. Aaron, what are some things that you've learned working with barrels that you've like, oh, yeah, I wish somebody would have told me this, 9 years ago, because this makes so much sense now.
It's a very easy question, Dan. Nice softball.
That's right. We like to start off.
There's a lot in that.
Yeah, that's a huge question.
That's why we got 14 listeners, Aaron. I'm like the chubby Colombian version of Barbara Walters. I ask the tough questions.
I would say that, like I mentioned previously, definitely make sure you're getting the freshest emptied barrels as you can. That's super important. And, filling them, having the beer ready to go to fill those barrels as soon as you get them, or as soon as you can after you get them. That's important. I think that we like to purge our barrels prior to filling, although they're going into, porous kind of oak vessels to sit for a long period of time, still minimizing the amount of oxygen pickup prior to them going in there is for something that's going to be aging for a really, really, really long time, knowing how oxygen degrades beer. Like any little bit we can do, I think, is impactful.
Now, when you say purge, do you mean filling it with CO2?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're pushing CO2 into the barrel, which is heavier than oxygen, so that pushes the oxygen out.
Okay.
And then filling kind of underneath that blanket of CO2.
Okay.
Making sure the barrels are full. That also helps push out the oxygen.
Yeah.
Wax and a blowtorch.
Wax and a blowtorch. If you have,
Is that like the off menu item in Big Beer Week? I'll take
Beer Week After Dark.
I'll take a Dapper Donkey and a wax and a blowtorch, please. What do you mean by wax and a blowtorch? Because I have some ideas.
Yeah. So if barrels are leaking after you've filled them, sometimes having a bit of wax and something to melt that wax with can help to stop leaks.
Oh, I've never heard that before.
Having a stainless nail for sampling from the head of the barrel is a good way for sampling. I think not being overzealous in your sampling. Like,
okay, what do you mean by that?
Like, you don't need to sample it a month after you put it in the barrel. Like give it. I usually don't try anything before like 11, 12 months.
Okay.
And then after that, it's usually I'll do like that first check-in, which might be the last if like some of our things are right around a year of aging.
Okay.
But like that, and then again, right before you're getting ready to take it out.
Sure.
Because every time you open that barrel up, you're risking contamination. Right. You're letting in oxygen. You're decreasing the volume in there, which also increases the surface area for oxygen, and like it's just not good for the beer that's left in the barrel to be sampling it very often.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as little as you can, like, disturb it. So that's another thing, like trying to like leave your barrels if you can in one spot after they're filled. Not moving them around all the time, because especially if they're not totally full, you're getting sloshing around, and that's like oxygenating the beer.
Yeah.
Not going to be good for the long-term life of that beer.
What's that process you do when you're prepping the barrels, though, too? You like where you have them all tipped over on their side first. You're like pre-soaking them.
Oh, sometimes we'll wet the heads just to make sure that like that'll get them to kind of like if they aren't ideally like super wet and swollen, ready for the beer, like that will like swell the head, and as soon as that head like expands, everything else tightens up.
Okay. Kind of brings us back to the wax and blowtorch. It's like a
preemptive kind of move, just in case they weren't the wettest barrels when you got them.
Right. Well, I mean, a
lot of times it's actually not needed, but sometimes it can.
Well, I know that just like the bourbon, I mean, they're just natural. I was astounded when I did some distillery tours to hear that, every year 3 to 5% of the distillate in the barrels evaporates.
Yeah.
So it's they're not airtight. So whatever you can do on your end with whether it's wax and a blowtorch or just like rehydrating them to ensure your best retention makes sense.
And it's wood, so it's porous.
Right.
But trying to seal it up as best you can.
Yeah. And it's an investment,
minimize.
Right? I mean, that's a big deal to have. I mean, even a handful of barrels to get your hands on is expensive. The amount of barrels that you have, I mean, that's a significant thing. So you've got to...
Yeah, and you need to be prepared for, that beer to be in there for a long time.
Yeah.
And, like, don't rush it, because then if you rush it, you're kind of defeating the whole purpose of it.
Right.
So if you can't stomach the, that sunk cost sitting there for a long time before you might ever, and also potentially going bad and not being able to be sold.
Right.
Just don't do it.
Yeah. And I think that, like, I've talked to, I mean, there was a brewery owner who, purchased a brewery, and, I was interviewing him about, kind of some of his goals for the brewery. And he's like, well, I want to get beer in barrels as soon as possible. And I was like, that's interesting. Why? He's like, well, it's just like, everybody's doing it. I'm like,
so there could be good reasons for doing that.
Right. Yeah.
But also that wasn't the right reason.
But yeah, it's just like, it's not something like, I think he felt that was a box to check on a list to becoming like a good brewery. But like, no, that's something you do if you've done your research, if you've done trial and error. And like you said, are you willing to put a bunch of resources in something and let that kind of go into a period of stasis? Because you're not looking on here, Encyclopedia Britannica of beers, like I'm seeing 12 months, 37 months, 25 months. It's a long time to just let something sit. And now every little penny counts. There's a handful of places where if I see they're advertising a wood-aged beer on tap, I'll be like, well, they know what they're doing, so I'm going to get in line for that. But that's a handful. There's over 200 breweries in the state, and I don't know that just because you put a beer in a barrel, doesn't mean that beer is going to be good. Some people use that as a gimmick to sell that beer. In Minnesota, I think the average person coming in is a lot smarter than that now. Mm-hmm. That might have worked 10 years ago, but I think people are a little bit more, the consumer is more intelligent about like, okay, well, how's the beer been stored? What did you do? Like, did you do some of those, techniques to make sure that vessel is not going to be letting in contaminants or oxygen and things like that? What's the point where it becomes like, okay, this is too many? Because when I go into a liquor store mm-hmm. and I go down the craft beer aisle, it seems to me that there is almost too much choice. Do you worry that, last year, what did you have? 46, 45? 46, and now we're up to 56. Like, is that sustainable? Like, can you... I mean, obviously, there's Aaron. His body language is saying the answer is no. But like, I mean, you're at a certain point you're capped with the number of tap lines and like how often you're changing out beers. Correct. But like, how much is too much? And the reason I ask is because I think that there is, at a certain point, obviously, right now, all the beers are very quality forward. They've gone through so many filters to be able to be poured for your event. Mm-hmm. What happens if there's... I mean, do you think you'll get to the point where you're releasing 75 beers over the span of a week?
I mean, you never say never, and we don't know what we don't know at this point, but... I mean, there are other ways to be able to serve the product too, So, for instance, we may have 75 beers, but 25 of those beers are bottles that we're pouring bottles now because they're shorter versions as opposed to 750s. The other thing that Aaron's been doing and Tracy's been doing throughout the year is we've gotten our tap lines better managed based on what we're putting out. We don't have as many things backing up that we're waiting to put on our 36 tap lines that we have. And we're making sure that even throughout the year, we're keeping a big beer, maybe on, or it's a special like time that we want to, let's do a cellar raid. Let's do these things to try to pare down the amount that we do have. Yeah. Because I think we all are recognizing that. And I think the other big thing is coming up with our cores, like we talked before. What are those core big beers? No different than our core, flagship beers that we have out every day. And being able to come down to that and maybe So again, Aaron's got a couple new styles that we haven't done.
Yeah.
But again, we're always going to have a triple IPA, more than likely.
Well, yeah.
Because, I mean, that's who we are.
Right.
You know? And it ties into big beer. We're going to have, like we said, our barrel nuts is going to be there. Our barrel god is going to be there. So you've got those three kind of key ones that you're doing. And again, I think trimming that even back as we go along, because now you can start paring things back a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, and the crazy thing is, like, the more things you create, you know, if it's got a following, obviously you don't want it to be like, you know, well, sorry, this was a 1 year thing. Sorry, everybody loved it. We're not going to keep it. You'd be foolish to not do that. So as things come, like, that's like the product of the whole process of, okay, we got more things, you know?
And I think the number of beers can be a little deceiving too, like, or misleading. Because because we're, you know, having 56 different beers tapped throughout the week doesn't mean that we're going through more volume. We might be pouring a sixth of something instead of a half barrel of it.
Right.
Or we might be, you know, like that, or we might, you know, be pouring 2 half barrels instead of 4 half barrels of something. So just because it's more different beers doesn't mean we're actually going, like, so, like, I think, like...
Aaron does a really good job of balancing the right amount of beer to keep on these lines to make sure that those that really want to get a taste of it can have a taste of it, but keeping it limited enough that it doesn't hang around a long time. And the variety leaves something for most people that would enjoy these styles of beers.
Right. Yeah.
And then part of the really cool thing of, like, every year we go into the future, and it's not going to constantly grow, but, like, as a general trend, we've been able to offer these, like, really cool verticals of our core beers too. So you can have, like, 6 years maybe aged in 12 different kinds of barrels too of one brand of beer. If, like, you're really, like, you love Barrel God, well, you can try 15 different varieties of it. You probably have to come for 3 days in a row to try them all.
Right.
But, like, those kinds of things, I don't like, I mean, this continuous large growth isn't sustainable in perpetuity. Of course not.
Right.
But I don't know.
But yeah, the way you break it down, that makes sense. I mean, I want to circle back to something that Tracy said. I think you're absolutely right. I think it's like, yes, the beer is a very core thing about it. It's central. But the community. And this place, I mean, I don't know what Big Lake was like before Lupulin. You heard it here first, folks. But you know, this place is such a great community gathering spot.
That's, like, the biggest thing that I try to push in this building and outside of this building every single day is that the community we are building here and the community we are supporting outside of these 4 walls is so important to all of us. My favorite thing is, and I say it every year, I probably sound like a broken record, but you will talk to people that, I know a couple that had their first date at Big Beer Week like 5 years ago. They're now society members and they come every year. She made her husband come when she couldn't be here so she could get a hockey jersey. There's a couple that came to a dinner we did with Safe Side Barbecue a couple weeks ago, and they came up on a whim last year on a Sunday. They took the Big Beer Week brewery tour with Jeff, and they drove up every single day from Hastings. He ended up getting a hockey jersey. It says 1,200 miles on the back of it because that's how many miles he drove. And they made friends. They now text
about
their
as many
friends.
miles as I drive every year.
Right? Like, it's just incredible the kind of, like, what this can bring out from people. And those people now have friends in this area that they met because they were here every day talking to people, and they text their friends when they're in the area and come by and grab a beer. And
well, and that it's so special.
Yeah,
and things like that. That's probably the the unforeseen thing. I'm sure way back when you were thinking about first rolling this out, is like, okay, here's a way to showcase some of the cool stuff we've been doing, and some bigger beers, but like having it
it's not just
take
all
on a
about the
life of
beer.
its own as something that people really look forward to. I mean, when I've been up here on a weekend, it's nuts to butts out there in the stave, and it's great. I mean, there's a really fun energy, and the people in line when the infusions go on tap, it's like that's really cool. That doesn't happen just as an accident. So it's like all the hard work that you all put in, and for the months and months and months of just waiting, when you're like, well, this beer will be ready sometime. It'll let us know.
Yeah, I mean, like you're right. I mean, we start big beer week planning pretty much. We've already started it because the guys brewed for 2026. I mean, they brewed both the Night Witch and Barrel God, and we racked those into barrels only a couple weeks ago. 32 barrels that we had, new barrels that we brought in. And again, those are barrels that are going to be 2020, well, maybe 25 for the Night Witch would be coming out, right? And then 2026. Okay. But again, the planning starts pretty much right away. And it's always ongoing, and I think some of the big tickets that's fun is like we talked about, the 4-day and the 8-day shirt. That's a big win for us. People love it.
Oh my God, the bragging people do during the week. You'll see people come out in that bright yellow T-shirt every year. Since we incorporated the hockey jerseys, it's so fun to see those floating through this brewery every week.
I do have one note. So my neighbor that lives down the street from me, like 2 houses down, Mitch, I was outside on like this last Sunday of Big Beer Week a year or two ago, and he comes pulling into his driveway, gets out of his car and holds up the shirt. He's like, I was like, oh, you got it. Nice. But it was just cool. So it's like bragging rights of
It absolutely
he got
is a
the shirt
bragging
from coming
rights.
up every day.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's something really special about that. And the power of craft beer, obviously, it's like, people who are interested in something other than for a long time what they had available to them, which was like the macro brews. And craft brew is a nice kind of meeting in the middle between artistry and science. And in Minnesota, it's a nice thing to have so many different places to go, but like each place has its own community. And that's really special in these times where, like, especially in Minnesota right now, we're in the doldrums of winter. This February is just, it's butt cold out there. And to be able to have something to look forward to, ice cold, yes, right, ass cold, and to have something to look forward to, and I love going places where I'm like, I see the same group of people that I only know through this thing. Mm-hmm. That is special.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
You'll watch them all be lined up outside the door. I bet you'll see cars in the parking lot by 11 a.m. on that Sunday.
Yeah, it'll be.
They'll all wait, and they'll see who's going to be the first one to get out and start that
No,
line.
they'll all come in and be co-working for a while.
No, not on Sunday. Sunday's not
Monday through
co-work.
Friday? Yes,
Now
absolutely.
that's a perfect segue into the next thing. Now I noticed that I saw on the social media, on the Lupulin social media this week, that you're debuting like workspace in the stave.
Yeah.
So if what does that mean?
We've got a big open space, and we invite you to come and use it as your office when you need to. If you want to have a lunch meeting there, if you just need to get out of the house and you want to read a book, like, come on up. We've got free Wi-Fi.
You need Wi-Fi.
We've got free Wi-Fi. We've got free coffee. The tap room opens at noon. You can sneak over and grab a beer and just enjoy it.
That's cool. I realized I've been sipping on this delicious beer, and we didn't even talk about it.
This is this year's Cuvée blend.
Now, what is a cuvée?
So cuvée is a French word, and I think it typically denotes kind of like a best blend kind of thing. I think it was used in wine more so, and then some like Belgian brewers especially would reference like a cuvée blend, or think maybe they also refer to them as like Grand Crus or something.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
it's not
Okay.
like it's not necessarily a specific style, but it like references like their best, the best of blend.
Yep.
And so we adopted that term to be, I mean, or what I consider to be kind of each year's, like the best blend that I
Yeah.
can make from the stock that we have, which is over multiple years and also sometimes multiple successive barrel agings in this case.
So this is the Barrel God Cuvée 2025.
Correct.
It's a 5-barrel blend, and there's so many, like, what a variety.
Yeah,
of
I think we
different
did
things.
read through
Yeah,
this
I read
already
through them earlier
on the podcast.
So just go back to minute marker 37 because I'm not going to say it again.
But yeah, it contains a portion of like our longest aged barrels, like in one single barrel, and also the freshest barrel, which made up our Barrel God like standard Barrel God release for this year.
Yeah.
And then in the middle, it had a couple double barrel aged contributions as well.
It's really good. That's all I have to say. And it's got legs too, just like the.
Is that what we're down to now? Really good? Is that all you got?
Well, this is, I don't know. How do you, Aaron? How would you describe this?
And as Jeff mentioned earlier, it is the single highest ABV beer that Lupulin has ever released at 16.7%.
You're bordering on Sam Adams' Utopias. Yeah, I think you need 8 more %. And you'll get up to there.
8 more %.
Like that's how can we do that?
Yeah.
Kind of coming together.
I get a lot more chocolate in this than I would say the freshest. Like this year's Barrel God standard release.
Yeah.
I think the bitterness maybe is toned down a little bit. A lot of good wood character. Definitely, I think even like a bit more booze contribution. Although not like I wouldn't describe it as overly boozy.
It's in the nose though.
Yeah,
Like of
you
all
can,
the beers,
you can,
like
feel that like alcohol vapor kind of go
Yeah.
up into your nose.
right.
Yeah, I think you get like a good amount of like caramelized sugars too, and some molasses.
Yeah.
I don't get as much of that like black licorice that I got on the standard release for this year.
All right. Last question for everybody.
Hopefully not for me.
We're gonna whip around. I want to hear.
2 more if we want to.
Oh yeah, well we definitely want to, and we'll this will be the
Whether or not we're on the podcast.
right. We're gonna still drink these whether we're still recording or not. That leaves a lot. We'll decide. One thing I want to know is like what is everybody's favorite element or aspect of Big Beer Week?
Ooh, I can start. I am a huge metalhead. I love metal music. I love dark things, Viking things. Like Big Beer Week has always been a huge thing for me because the T-shirts, the artwork, it's like going to a metal concert like every year. Last year was the exception, which I did not like, but I know that was a...
Last year was kind of a Grateful Dead vibe.
It was a little too hippie for me. I'm like, this is Big Beer Week. I need skulls, death,
We need
dark.
donkey punches, man.
Yeah. I was walking around donkey punching people because it was like, this is too colorful. Like, what's going on here? Tie dye. What the hell is this? But that's yeah.
Hey,
That's
even the
my big
t-shirt.
thing that I love about Big Beer Week is how we have these big dark beers. It's kind of a big dark theme.
The T-shirt
It's
plays off like a concert shirt vibe.
Yeah, it's very
But instead
like
of the bands, it's
metalish.
got the beers on the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
says
it's like
it's a
going to a metal
tour, but it's not a
concert,
tour.
but it's like there's good beer. You're not drinking like Bud Light at
Yeah.
First Ave or whatever, listening to some crazy metal band. But that's the thing I always really enjoy about it is how kind of like metal orientated it is, at least from my perspective. And Marcus makes amazing artwork, so
Oh, thank
it's like my favorite thing to do is walk up to him when he's drawing something. I go, "Ooh, is that what you're going with?" And he just turns around and goes, "I love you."
What
It's
a
like,
goofball.
Yeah, I love doing
The first
that
like
to him.
67 times that really got to me.
Yeah. I even did it to him on, I don't know, what was it, Friday? I was like, you gonna make that blue?
I don't even
I
hear
don't
it
know what it
anymore.
was. It was something on it, and it was like the whole screen was blue, and I'm like, blue, really? Like, yeah, I love messing with Marcus, but yeah, that's my big thing with Big Beer Week is artwork and metal themed and dark and
that's cool.
yeah.
Now, before the next person shares, Aaron, what do we got here now?
This is the double barrel aged barrel nuts, which we'll be releasing on Thursday, March 6th. This Imperial Brown Ale was aged for 12 months in Barbados rum barrels first, and then after that, 13 months in Woodford Reserve double oak bourbon barrels.
This is definitely on the sweeter side of all the offerings we've tried.
Yeah, and I think part of that is that I guess the barrel nuts batch from 2 years ago was a little sweeter.
Oh, okay.
So it had a little more residual sugar there. And I think rum barrels generally will give you a little bit sweeter perceived sweetness than you would get from your average bourbon barrel.
Yeah.
So that amplifies it a little bit. But you see in the ABV being not significantly lower, but a little bit lower, even despite the double barrel aging than the standard barrel nuts release for this year. That means that we probably had a little bit of a sweeter batch of the barrel nuts that year.
Sure.
My favorite piece about Big Beer Week is the community. I love all the people that I am going to see, that I'm going to talk to, that are going to tell me which beer they had that was their favorite. And watching this team of beer tenders that we have just absolutely kick ass all week long. They look forward to this just as much as everybody else does. They know it's going to be busy, and they are so ready for it.
If you come up here, make sure you tip accordingly.
Yes, please take care of our beer tenders.
They accept cash and or deeds to lake properties.
I mean, I'm a lot like Tracy because I love to get out and talk with all of the people, whether they're regulars or people that are only here for Big Beer Week. I mean, there's several that come up here and they take this sheet here and they have notes by everything that they're going to do, and it's so cool to sit down at a table and just have a conversation with them.
Oh yeah.
There's people that ride the train up and stay.
Wait, there's a train?
Yeah, there still is a train that you can come up from Minneapolis, and several people do that, and then they stay at the best, was it?
Yeah, you can't come out and go back during the week.
Right.
Like, that doesn't work.
Right.
You could take the train out in the morning, I guess,
Yep.
and then co-work.
Hey, there's another. There's a
We
plug.
just broke the internet, ladies and gentlemen.
That actually would work now.
Yeah, that would work now. You could actually enjoy.
See, nobody
Big-
heard that sound effect because none of you are
Yeah.
wearing your goddamn headphones. This is like, why did I spend all this money on equipment for you to just let it sit on the fucking table? That's just
So
an
that your
aside.
listeners can hear it.
The other thing is I'm really excited this year is I can't wait to see the donkey on the patio with the.
Well, that was you?
And the other thing that we do during Big Beer Week that's really cool because again, it's just crazy busy, and we have to utilize all of our space. And there'll be people out, we'll have fires going again, and the crew is, people in the community, they've already, the wood crew has already stacked all the wood out there along the entire backside of the patio, and we'll have fires going outside to
that'll be
drink
cool.
beers. I mean, that's kind of the thing that's really special about Big Beer Week is, it is, like you said, it's been damn cold, and the whole celebration around Big Beer Week is get some big beers that are big, high alcohol,
Warm your belly.
high alcohol to warm you up as we're transitioning out of that winter into springtime. And it's just kind of the perfect timing to do it.
All right. Marcus, what's your favorite thing about Big Beer Week?
For me, it's a toss-up. Either the just general feedback on the art, which I don't know. I always hate everything I draw, so it's really fun to get cool feedback.
That's so sad.
I think
Because
it's pretty
here's the
common
thing,
with creatives.
Marcus-
It's pretty normal with
No,
artists.
I get it, but like, you are in a class by yourself
I appreciate
when it
that.
comes to what you put out there, and I just think you have such a talent, and you have such great creativity, and I love that you share it with the world.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Agreed.
Cool opportunity.
you're very good at it.
And like when I like to give Marcus crap, it's mainly because I really love his artwork. It's
So, yeah.
amazing.
The feedback on the art is awesome, but then for me, equally awesome, it's the infusions. I love liquid candy bars.
This is the Night Witch.
Double barrel.
Double barrel.
Double
aged.
barreled Night Witch. Now let's take a look at this sheet here. I've just been handed a very important document. All right.
With 7-point fonts.
Fuck, I can't read it. Damn it.
Get your readers
I need
out,
a
Dan.
translator. Okay, double barreled Night Witch. Imperial Stout, aged 21 months in Woodford Reserve double oaked bourbon barrels. Then aged 13 months in one Kentucky Owl bourbon barrel and one Sazerac rye barrel. Night Witch is a fan favorite of many. What strikes me about Night Witch is that the mouthfeel is really kind of what you want in a big stout. It's that kind of sweet spot between kind of like dark fruit molasses and dark chocolate. Roasty, just a little bit of dark fruit, kind of to add a little bit of not necessarily sour, but
It's almost a little sharper than sweet.
yeah. This is such a good beer.
And not sharper in a bad way.
No, like sharper as in sharper image. The store when you, if you were, it was 1985 and you wanted to impress someone, you'd buy them something from Sharper Image. That's a callback. None of you millennials will get that joke, but for my boomer population, you'll
So
understand.
Jeff.
No, when I look at the Spotify thing, there's quite a few people in like the 45 to 54 age range that listen to this.
Oh, the podcast.
Those aren't boomers.
Why does Jeff not have a microphone?
Yeah, sir.
That's what I said. The Britney
Jeff,
Spears.
put on the headset, then you'll at least be able to listen. And then when you want to chime in, grab a microphone.
Yeah, we need the Britney
This
Spears.
is not a complicated
microphone.
concept, people. You listen to
People
it
talk
and you
way too
talk.
much.
It's very complicated when you come here, Dan.
But Night Witch, I mean, this is something that has.
I think the mouthfeel thing, especially, you get from that extended boil.
Yeah.
Like,
yes,
That's kind of like differentiates it from Barrel God, especially. I think.
Oh,
that,
for sure.
I mean, we're boiling it for
12
six
hours.
times as
Right,
long as
yeah.
we do Barrel God. So, like,
yeah,
you get so much more concentration.
yeah.
It's one of those where setting up the brew days sucks because you're like these long
Sure,
boils
yeah.
and doing a 30 barrel batch. So it's like 2 12-hour boils with the mash. Like, like the whole process is multiple days of just straight brewing. But the
But then when
final
you have it
result
like this,
is so
it's
good.
worth it,
So
right?
it's,
I mean,
yeah.
that's the
Especially if you didn't do all of what Mike just said.
Yes.
Personally.
And especially
Aaron
I'm
created the idea,
being
and then
first shift,
Aaron's like, well, I gotta go run. Otherwise, I owe Marcus $50. So, Mike, have fun with this shit. I'll be out to, get my steps in. It's really fucking great.
have fun with that.
That's right. Let me know if you need any help.
The truth
But
hurts.
if you call after 1:30, I won't be on my phone. I'll
I'm
be
running from my problems.
Aaron, what's your favorite aspect of Big Beer Week?
I would say that it's kind of twofold. I'll repeat a lot of what everyone else or several other people said. Like, it's probably the 1 week of the year where, like, for 8 days, I'll spend a significant amount of time out in the tap room and like chatting with people.
Yeah.
Kind of just
that's a treat in itself.
schedule that into my week that week, and it's like spent so much kind of intensive time in the months leading up to get all this stuff ready. So then to kind of just like see it all come to fruition and get feedback from people and just hang out. And that's a real treat. A lot of people you see, you know, like Big Beer Week is the only time you see them during the year too. So that's fun. From a beer making, beer enjoyment perspective, I do like kind of like on a daily basis, really being able to try multiple years like side by side.
Yeah.
The cool thing about those verticals, I think, is like the oldest vertical that we will put on will be the first beer to blow. Like the new release will not be the first one to go. People will go after those older beers when we sneak them on the tap lines.
We also generally like the new releases
Also
are
that
like
too,
a half
yes.
barrel keg, where the old ones are
That's fair.
Six
But
to
Okay, that's fair.
But-
quarter.
a lot of people do like they go with the oldest one first because I mean, kind of rightly thinking
Start with the old
they
and
they
end with
know
the
that
new.
like it might be the last opportunity they ever have to try that version of the beer.
Yeah. Well, do you want to hear my favorite thing about
Yes, please,
Big
Dan.
Beer
Yes.
No, go away,
Tell
Dan.
us, Mr. Bovian.
Nobody ever says that. One time, my class at the end of the year, they were an exceptionally annoying group of
They
people.
were flattering you.
And they're like, "So are we gonna have a party on the last day?" And I looked at them. I'm like, "In your minds, what about the last 9 months do you feel necessitates any type of celebration?" And they were like,
The fact that it's over.
"That's right." That's right. Somebody should have said that. I would have laughed.
Should have been like, party, let's go.
My favorite thing about Big Beer Week is just when I look on here and I see all the different years of a
That
beer
are in 7-point font.
Well, exactly. And I'm just guessing because I can't read any of this shit. But I see a lot of
Noted.
like the Barrel God.
Four-page menu coming
just
up.
on Wednesday, March 5th, you have a bunch of different. And I think back in my mind, and I remember the Four Roses one very specifically. I remember the 1792 very specifically. I remember the Old Forester bourbon very specifically. And it's nice to be able to, because there's not many times in life when you get to go back and revisit something that was really fantastic. Mm-hmm. And the fact that,
Especially like limited release.
yeah, and it's that you hold a little bit over of something really great. And it's so cool to be able to like look at all these different things. It's like, wow, there's so many special beers that
That
you
you
all
could
have made.
re-experience.
And to be able to taste a little bit. And I understand that, every year a beer is, after it's brewed, it'll lose a little bit. But for the most part, it doesn't lose much. And it's just fun to be able to try those things and just get a little bit of a reminder, but also to see all the different new things that are on. Craft beer is about drinking something. When you drink a beer that's really interesting, the hairs on your neck stand up. And you do have a physical reaction to it. When you try, I think about, Aaron and Jeff, when we went to Machine House in Seattle, and the
Good times.
just trying those beers, and they were magical. Beer is a very special thing because you can drink something that's really special and you can react to it. But also, I think if I would have gone to Machine House by myself, it wouldn't have been as great. It's about who you're with. It's about that
community.
moment and that community. And being with each other, when you're sitting down at a table at Lupulin and trying this, the Barrel God Cuvée, and everybody gets a pour of it and everybody takes their first sip, and there's that silence. When your palate is acclimating to it, you're being wowed. That is a very special thing. And that's fun. And I know that it takes a lot of work to do that for everybody, for the taproom staff, the back of house staff, everybody pitching in. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of investment. But I hope you all know that the payoff for those of us who come up here and just love it, absolutely love it, it's so special. Big Beer Week 2025 up here at Lupulin Brewing Company in Big Lake, Minnesota from March 2nd to March 9th. Put it on your calendar. Go to the website in a few days. There will be a PDF that you can download, and you'll be able to see why I haven't been able to read it because there's like so many different things on here. But, chart your course for some really special beers to try. If you can manage to get up here 8 times and get the awesome, coveted T-shirt, the 8-day T-shirt that Marcus has designed, you'll be in a rare company. So I want to thank you all for having me up here to chat and enjoy some laughs and talk about some great beers. This has been another episode of a One Pint Stand. Now let's get a cheers, everybody.
Cheers for beers.
Cheers, cheers, cheers.
Cheers,
Cheers,
Dan.
fuckers.
Cheers. I hope you enjoyed the 2025 Lupulin Big Beer Week preview. I want to thank Aaron, Jeff, Marcus, Tracy, and Mike for taking time out of their Sunday to sit down with me and talk beer. Big Beer Week, as you heard, has taken on a zeitgeist of its own, and it really emphasizes the importance of community. From Sunday, March 2nd through Sunday, March 9th, people from Big Lake, Minnesota and beyond will flock to the Lupulin tap room to enjoy some special big beers. Now, if you've never been, you have to give this a try. It is a brilliant event. If you have been, you probably have a plan to get that 8-day T-shirt. Now, I want to give a special thank you to Marcus Dodson, Chuck Dorsey, Vicky Epper, Daniel Fisher, Todd Fitzloff, Matt Holton, Cable Lefto, Ben Michaels, Sophia Masagi, Brent Newman, Bree Smith, and Sarah Cry-Valento for being Kegstander level supporters of the A One Pint Stand Patreon. You've all shown incredible generosity, and I'm grateful for it. Cheers to you all. Your support means the world to me. Before we go, I want to give a huge thanks again to the sponsor of this episode, First Draft Tap Solutions. Whether you need someone reliable to clean your beer lines, or you need to install a new draft system or give technical support, Brett Erickson at First Draft Tap Solutions is your guy. Email him at firstdrafttapsolutions@gmail.com or give him a call at 612-839-5304 if you need some quality assistance. So thank you for listening, and this has been another episode of A One Pint Stand, a Minnesota craft beer podcast where the pants stay on, but the caps come off. Cheers. I think it was Mike Tyson that said it best. Everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face.
Yeah.
Then you gotta,
and
then you
the
gotta switch it
punches
up.
come right away.
Yeah, that's right. The punches
when
come
you're
in the
using
form
rum
of
barrels.
a rum barrel. Punched by a pirate.
And you don't have enough blowtorch and wax.
At least he added the word torch after blow.